Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today. So in today's video, I wanted to put something together for those of you who are maybe starting out with your brush collection, or maybe you haven't, really built up your collection too much and you're kind of easing into the whole idea of, dropping all this money on makeup brushes. I know it took me a long time to do that. I was pretty much not buying brushes at all. I would maybe buy one or two at the Ulta sale or something, but definitely not anything over $20. So it did take me a while to really learn and appreciate the brushes, and I thought I'd put together a list of ones that are on the less expensive side, that I use a lot, that are very useful, and that are great values. So with that, let me start out with the eye brushes. Most of them are eye brushes. There's going to be two face brushes I'll mention at the end, but most of the face brushes are under 25 and everything's under 30. So let me start off with the least expensive of all the brushes, but nonetheless an amazing brush. That's the Chikuhodo Artist 6-8. It looks like this. It doesn't look like much, but it is such a useful brush. It's made of horsehair. It's $11.75 on CD Japan, and it's such a good brush for lining the lower lash line. It's also really good for deepening out the outer V. It's what I use today to kind of create this wing right here, because it's a very specific brush, but it holds on to a lot of product as well, so you don't have to dip in very often. And it's a very durable brush. It's made out of horsehair. I've washed this so many times. It cleans really well, and it's really such a good value. And you can get it in the shorter red handle, which is really beautifully lacquered. I have one, I just put it in storage, but yeah, they're the same price, the red lacquered one. I actually do think the red one is more aesthetically pleasing, but I do prefer a longer handle. But either one is available and either one will be amazing. So that's the Artist 6-8. And then the next one, I've mentioned this a lot over the years, is the Hakuhodo J5523. It's one of their horsehair packing brushes, and I have a decent amount of these in different sizes. This is kind of like in the middle, not the smallest, not the largest. So it's a very useful brush when you want to put a shimmer like in the inner part, or for me, yeah, smaller eyes, if you want to put the shimmer like in the middle of your lid, it's the perfect length. It does pack on shimmers very heavily, and so if you're in a rush, it's a really good brush to get things on quickly. It produces very little fallout, and it's super durable. I've had this one for a long time. These brushes wash really well. They're super well made, and they're very useful. And I would say the same about the other ones that are, I have one that's a little bigger. They're all great, and I love these for packing on shimmers when I do my little bit more elaborate eye looks. And then the next one, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because it's a very well-known brush. I know a lot of you probably already have this one, and that's the Hakuhodo J5523, and I have two of them. I've had one of them, I think this was my first Hakuhodo brush, and it's just such a useful brush. It's the perfect amount of, the ferrule is just pinched just enough for it to give it that fluffiness when you wash it. But if you want it to stay more compact, you can wash it and put a brush guard, and it ends up more like this, and it'll be a little bit denser and more specific. I was going to include the Sonia-G Worker Pro, which looks like this, but I honestly don't use this brush very much. And if you're looking to get a pinched blending brush like this and you want it to be a little bit flatter, just put a brush guard on it. This one is $19 and this one is $30, and I do prefer the Hakuhodo over pretty much any of my other pinch blending brushes. I think this is a great value and just a phenomenal brush, and I think even if you're starting out, I think this is a really good one to have. And no matter what your eye shape, this would be useful. If you have small eyes, it's good for deepening the crease. If you have bigger eyes, you can do detail work on the outer V. And it's just a really solid all-around blending brush. Okay, another packing brush that I highly recommend that I've been talking about for a long time is the Chikuhodo GSN-9. This one is $25 and it's made out of gray squirrel hair. It's super high quality. It's that GSN line, so it's very luxurious looking. It's got a really long handle. It's probably got the longest handle of any of my eye brushes. So if you are someone that it gets, you know, it hits your mirror, this will definitely hit your mirror sometimes if you're doing your eye in this way. But it's such a beautiful brush and it's super high quality. It's really good at applying a shimmer without making it look like it's painted on. It gives it that kind of ethereal look, and it pretty much produces no fallout, which is amazing. So I highly recommend the GSN-9. Another one I've also talked about, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, is the Goss 19. I have two of them. It's my very first Fude brush, and I still use it till this day. One of them is super old, and it is starting to fray, but it's super useful, especially if you have smaller hooded eyes. It's really great for defining the crease. If you have bigger eyes, it'll be good for kind of building out, deepening out the outer V, or even doing lower lash line. But the Goss 19, super solid brush. It's now $23. I believe it was $20 when I bought it. And the another blending brush is the Mizuho CMP527. This one is squirrel and horsehair. It's $20. This is a super good, if you want like a blending brush that is a little bit more like a fluffy blending brush, like the Goss 3, that's more specific because it's got such a fine point. This is a great one. So for example, some days I'll use the Goss to kind of deepen out the lid area, but if I want a little bit more definition, I'll use this one instead. That's what I used today to lay down the transition color, and it's a super solid, you know, very durable brush. It's not a long handle, it's not a short handle. It's right in between, and it's very unique too. I don't see other companies making brushes quite like this. So I do think it's really worth looking into, and I use this one all the time. And I did wanted to honorably mention the Goss 3. This one is above the threshold at $32, but it's such a good brush. I use one every day. I have two, and I don't think, I'm pretty sure they're available still, but I don't think he's going to continue making these for long, at this price point at least. So if you're looking into it, I would definitely get it sooner than later. And I use this one to lay down like my first color, like a really light color all over, or to kind of lightly deepen the crease area. And it's such a great brush. You can also use it to powder underneath your eyes, like if you want to get really close to the lash line. So very versatile brush, the Goss number 3. Okay, and then I'm going to get to my two face brushes that are under $30, and one of these I'm really excited to talk about because I have not mentioned it since the haul. So that one, I'll save that one for last. But one that I highly recommend, this one comes out to $22.66, is the Bisioto CH Dashhc. It's their Cherry Series highlighting brush, but I use it to powder the under eyes. It's such a useful brush. It is dyed Chikuhodo hair, I think, so it's not like super silky or luxurious, but I think the shape is very useful. It's not like as perfectly, it's not like as exquisite as their long handles or short handles, but I think for the price you're getting a really high quality brush that's very useful. I use this in place of the Goss number 2 if that one's dirty, or you know, I just feel like using a different brush. I think for the price this is a great value, and that's the Bisyodo highlighting brush from the Cherry series. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the Chikuhodo G10. Now this, I've been using it for foundation, and I know it's small, and I know when I bought this I was like, I don't see myself using it for foundation, it's too small, and I kind of complained about how it wasn't that nice or anything, but it's such a useful brush. And now that I've been using foundation brushes to put my foundation on for a while now, I've kind of got the hang of it. And if you kind of use this like in, you know, kind of like bigger strokes and cover a big area, it really provides a nice finish, like a medium coverage. And for the price, you are getting, you know, a very useful brush. The hairs aren't as luxurious as some of the other Chikuhodo brushes, but you know, especially if you like a short handle. And I can see this being really good for traveling. So I guess if I travel again, instead of bringing like a big fat brush like this or one of the Sonia G base brushes, I think this would probably be just fine. It washes really well. It's also good for doing cream and liquid contour. But for foundation, it actually really is a great brush, and it's under $30. It's $29 on CD Japan, and I think this is amazing. I really, really do like it now that I've had it in my collection for a while. But it took me a while to kind of warm up to this brush, but I do really like it, and I recommend this brush. I forgot to mention earlier that all of these brushes I paid for with my own money. I didn't include like some of the rougher brushes that were given in PR, just because I don't want to taint my opinions with things that were given to me, because it's just different, you know, when something is gifted to you and it's great, it's really easy to recommend it, as opposed to you know, you going out shopping for something and putting your own money down and then saying it's a good value. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't include a lot of other brushes that I do think are really good, that are under the $20 or $30 threshold, but it would have been too many brushes anyways. And I have a lot of rougher brush recommendations, so if you guys want to see that, I have them. You know, you guys can pull those up. But I did wanted to put this up for those of you who are kind of more starting out your collection. So that's really all I had to, you know, tell you guys for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.